Hello everybody, it is 12:30 on Friday, September the 11th, and I'm Michelle from ADHD Unlocked, and as ever I'm joined by the lovely Steph, also from ADHD Unlocked. And all this week, ironically, from what I'm about to tell you, we have been looking at the subject of sleep, because most adults with ADHD have at some point in their lives, or intermittently or regularly, have issues with getting enough sleep, getting to sleep, etc., etc. So personally, I don't suffer too much with insomnia, but sporadically I do. And ironically, we've been covering it this week and I've had a terrible couple of nights sleep. But Steph, this racing brain that adult ADHDers have, amongst other things like the inability to get to bed on time because of time blindness, procrastination, squeezing another Netflix episode on a series. What's going on here and what can we do about it? I suppose we're here to chat about, because I think we have some differing views about getting to bed on time as well, but it's not just me, is it?
No, definitely not. Definitely not just you. It is a very prevalent issue for ADHDers for all the reasons that you spoke of. I definitely see it a lot in my clients, particularly the mums with ADHD, with kids with ADHD. You know, during the day, it's just so full on. And because we generally we're not very good at setting our own boundaries, saying no, carving out that self-care time for ourselves, that we wait until everyone else has gone to bed, we won't be needed anymore. And then we give ourselves permission to have our time and unwind. And that's why they go to bed really, really late, a lot of us.
Yeah, this is really interesting, because this going to bed late, I think, is more of an issue than actually when you getting to bed on time and then not being able to sleep, although that is a problem for a lot of us, because the same part of the brain, and I didn't quite know how much this worked together with our attention and emotional regulation center, the same part of our brain that regulates that sleepiness or arousal awakeness is impacted by our ADHD and the different brain structure. So the inability to regulate our attention, we were unable to regulate that, oh, it's time for sleep, or I'm awake now. So that's really, really interesting. We tend to be night owls. As we've said, we struggle with consistency. We might fall down a YouTube hole and go, oh, I'll just watch this particular video. And also a lot of us might misuse things like nicotine, caffeine, alcohol will make you tired, but it will impact the quality of your sleep, so you're kind of losing sleep there. So there's lots we can do, but it is really, really difficult. And we're supposed to be getting 7 to 9 hours of actually being asleep every night. Now that doesn't mean being in bed and reading, watching YouTube, faffing on Facebook, having sex, whatever. You have to actually be asleep for 7 to 9 hours. So I don't think regularly enough I get that amount of sleep. And I bet you all watching this, can you all hold your hands up and say that you get, your average of 8 hours? Do you, Steph?
No. I used to. I remember we had this conversation before I started taking medication. I had to sleep. I would just, by the end of the day, because it takes up so much energy to get through the day when you've got ADHD, I just needed it. I had no choice. So there were lots of ADHDers, what we talked about during the week, that just fall asleep whenever they even just stop, and then off they're out. So yeah, I used to be better and sleep a lot, but now not as good on that front.
Yeah. Now the thing about this is that sleep is one of the single most important factors for impacting on our ADHD symptoms, because even a person without ADHD, if you sleep deprive them, they will mimic the effects of having ADHD. So what we've got to have a look at really is how much of our ADHD could be reduced by getting a proper night's sleep. And I would argue quite a lot, and I did not give it the priority and the importance, because it's a bit boring, isn't it? And we have a bit of a fear of missing out.
Yeah.
And we deserve that time in the evening to wind down.
That's, yeah, which is what we talked about. Remember, we had, yeah, so Michelle and I, as usual, had a little bit of a very friendly debate about the importance of sleep. And I agree, obviously, sleep is paramount. It's so important. We have to have it. And Michelle went through all the reasons, scientifically, what it does to our body, the brain, everything, very valid. But as I was saying to Michelle, personally, and from what I see with a lot of other clients, in order to get to sleep, that unwind time, that time where you can, that flow time that you need just to kind of get to that level where you can get off to sleep is crucial. So, but it's about making sure you carve out that time before you're meant to hit the pillow.
Yeah, and it's also about planning throughout the day. So making yourself get enough of the white light or the blue light during the day, sunlight earlier on, not having that expose you to blue light later on, from your phones, etc., which is going to affect your circadian rhythm. So you're less likely to need to go to sleep. But I would argue that if you're having to do the unwinding really late at night when you should actually be asleep, should you be? I'm saying this like I've got it all sewed up.
Yeah.
I'd be the same. I'm like, should you be readjusting your lifestyle so that you're doing that winding down earlier in the evening, says Michelle, as if ADHD doesn't affect her in any way. And I wasn't awake at 3 o'clock this morning with a racing brain going, what am I going to do? Why am I looking at my phone? I shouldn't have blue light going into my eyeballs at this point. But I think being kind to ourselves, I think we ought to have a really good thing about if we are going to bed at like 1 o'clock because we need to wind down and our alarm set for 7, we're not getting enough sleep.
Yeah, it's hard, particularly I think it's from what I've seen in lockdown, it's been really difficult because we need to have a compelling reason to get to sleep, right? So I see like with my husband, for instance, now that he's into his cycling, and if he wants to go and not incur my wrath that he's taking time rather than looking after the kids and helping me in the morning, but to go cycling, he has to get up really early. And so he's incentivized to get to sleep early because he really wants to cycle and he needs to. And same thing with like school. We know that, when the kids or when teenagers and they have to be up to get to school, they will be up. But during lockdown, when you didn't have to be at school, so many of them fell into really terrible sleeping patterns, being up really, really, really late. The university students, even worse. And so there needs to be a reason.
I've been just racking my brains. I've just had an aha moment live on our Facebook Live about why I really struggled to get to sleep this week. And I thought, is it because I've got a bit of a head cold, a sniffly nose? What's going on in my, I've got things going on in my mind. But of course, my daughter started school again this week. So my alarm's been going off at, 6:20 rather than 7 o'clock. I've adjusted my routine. I'm going to bed early because I'm tired, then waking up in the night. So my whole routine, my whole sleep, should have adjusted it more gradually, which is what I was teaching people to do earlier in the week in our presentation. But of course, I've messed up. So I'm slightly jet lagged because my routine has completely changed because of school. So that's a really interesting point, is that how do we have to gradually adjust, by minutes.
And I laugh because, right, gradually, ADHD, doing things gradually.
Yes. You see, I'm pontificating, which is a great word.
Yes.
I don't know where that came from with my tired brain about all this, but it's so bloody hard. And I'm like kicking myself last night going, for God's sake, you're teaching people about sleep this week for the members community and saying, you must do this, you must look at your phone, you must wind down, you mustn't be worrying about this, you mustn't be looking at, work stuff late at night. And here's me doing it. So it's about, it's one of those cases where we know what to do, we don't do what we know again. So how can we, I suppose, bring accountability into this? How can we remind ourselves that sleep's bloody important, because it just doesn't seem that high a priority and it really should be?
Yeah, again, it's again having that reason, a compelling reason, or removing the choice. So there's nothing else you can do. Like I know with me, it's the hardest part is choosing to turn that light off. That's the hardest part. But there are things you can do. For instance, like with your phone, there's automatic kind of apps that will shut down your phone or something. And if you can't look at your phone and you don't have a book in the room, you've got to create that environment, the right environment. There's nothing else to do but sleep. I know with me, I just turn the light off, and it just happened for me. I'm lucky it happens. But it's just that point of, Stephanie, turn the light off, Stephanie, right now, just do it. Don't think about it, boom, and then I'll sleep. So yeah, designing your environment, getting out of your own way.
Yes, and that is important, because when we did habits the other week, one of the bad habit was looking at my phone late at night, or if I wake up early, and I moved my phone onto the landing. But what did I do last night? I went and got it, because I just thought, oh, it'll help me, because it'll help. I'll just read a few articles. But why didn't I read a book? So I didn't really get out of my own way. I deliberately went over a hurdle that I'd set myself by not having the phone by my bed. And did that. But you're right, we need to set up that environment. Give yourself a bedtime, give yourself a routine.
Rituals.
A magnesium Epsom salt bath, because magnesium can be absorbed through the skin and is known to have a calming effect, and a lot of us are deficient in magnesium. So there's all of these kind of things about kind of breathing exercises late at night, just chilling, not reading your work emails, not getting excited about a really action-packed Netflix series that you're watching at 11 o'clock. And the worst thing about that is when they scroll for the next episode and they leave you on a cliffhanger. So that's terrible.
Yeah.
But there's lots we can do, but we need other people to help as well as ourselves, and reminders, post-it notes, all sorts of stuff, I think, because otherwise we just forget, because it's just one of those things that happens, is sleep, and we don't give it the importance that it deserves.
Yeah, well, because I guess it's just not this sleep just not being authentically interesting of itself for us, because it's that, given that the brain, our ADHD brains, it fuels authentic interest, sleep is like the opposite. It's like there's nothing. There's a nothing. We know that boredom is to ADHD is what kryptonite is to Superman, right? So we've got this fear, even, I think, even that, there's a turning off the light to sleeping. And then you've also obviously got the racing brain anyway, and the thoughts, and then the anxiety, because, a lot of us, we put a lot of input stimulation during the day to distract ourselves from that rumination, having those negative thoughts. So it's a bit scary, isn't it? So there are lots of other strategies, like the music.
It is scary. So you could use music to distract you. I use an app called Calm on my phone, which has sleep stories, and you could use kind of some sleep hypnosis, some sleep meditation, breathing guided meditations to help you sleep, which I have used before. If you wake up in the night, that's a really, really good idea to use. But I managed to reframe doing my yoga and now actively enjoy it as something that's a treat. So I kind of think of sleep, we've just discussed how sleep is boring and it's something that we just have to do. I've just thought of this off the top of my head. Could we reframe it as, this is our self-care, this is our gift, this is my gift to myself.
Yes.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's definitely, that would be helpful to see it, to see it differently as something that you're, part of the self-care, because that's another goal that a lot of us ADHDers have, is I really need to be kinder to myself. I need to, put myself first and take time for myself. So you going to bed, and that will make you feel good that you've managed to do it. So yeah, that's a good way of looking at it too.
Another thing that's really, really important, which we overlook, and I bet you most of you are thinking, looking around and thinking about what your bedroom looks like. Make your bedroom a haven. You must tidy up your room. You must have it clutter free. I know that's really, really hard. Make sure the sheets are nice, put some time and effort into making your bedroom a haven and making it as like a prescription for your ADHD. And if you do need help with decluttering your bedroom in order to get to sleep, we are running another Smash It session. We do them every Tuesday, alternate between lunchtimes and evenings, every Tuesday for members. So we've got an evening Smash It session next Tuesday evening. If you need to tidy your bedroom, I suggest that you join us as a member, and we've got a special offer on at the moment, and you can join in the Smash It session. And I think I might use my Smash It session to make sure my bedroom is as tidy as possible, actually, Steph, this Tuesday. So joining for that. So yeah, so Steph, this special offer as well if members want to join us for the Smash It others.
The Smash Its are fantastic. I did one recently. I hadn't done them. Michelle was running them, and I loved it. And I was amazed at how efficient, you know, I was during it, but how much fun it was as well. Like really, with the music going, and because we do kind of sprints, so it's like kind of 10 minutes, the music on. Look, if you don't like the music, you know, you can mute that. So, because I know some of us are a bit sensitive. Some of us don't like other, you know, others' music, not a problem. But it's also gives you a really good sense of time, because we also have time blindness, and so it actually builds your sense of time. So not only do you get stuff done, but your time blindness should kind of improve a bit, because you get a better idea of how long things take. But yeah, so we've decided to do them on a weekly basis because they're just they're amazing. They're great. As Michelle was saying, the problem's not that we don't know what to do. We don't do what we know. And the Smash It sessions are seriously the best way to get things done. No word of a lie there, guys. So if you're not a member yet, I really, really strongly encourage you. With this offer's amazing. At I think half price for the whole year is like $139. And I mean, look, even in my coaching sessions, a lot of ADHDs, they need to implement rather than just talk about stuff. I know that when I, you know, finish that call with them, I'm not going to do it. There's some that, you know, just will not do it. So we do stuff during the session. And but these Smash It sessions are a lot more cost effective than a coaching session. So, and you get these every week. So it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly. And if you can't afford to pay for the whole year with the 50% off in one chunk, we're doing a monthly offer as well, which is vastly reduced on the cost, so you can pay monthly. But not only do you get the weekly Smash It sessions, you get the weekly meetings on a Wednesday evening, and you get the 3 sessions throughout the week, loads of emails, the portal, etc., the special Facebook group with the community, with the accountability. So it's really, really like group coaching, accountability and support. And it's literally, you know, reduction of 10 times less the cost than what they're charging in America for similar programs. So yeah, let's go. If you want to smash it and commit yourself to getting stuff done, as well as all the other offers that we've got for the members community, do join us. But yes, sleep, and do everybody have a lovely weekend of rest and sleep, and hopefully we'll see some new members on Monday. And next week, what are we doing, Steph? Because of my lack of sleep, I've temporarily gone blank.
Next week, we're going to be focusing on friendships, which is going to be a very, very interesting topic, very important for ADHDers. Now is the time definitely to join if you're not a member, because how many friendships have you kind of left in the dust, or some great friendships really that they don't have to end, but because we don't understand what we need to do in relation to friendships, we don't have the strategies, the structures in order to be able to maintain these relationships, they fall by the wayside, and it doesn't need to be that way. So yeah, come and join us, and we'll learn how to have really good friendships that are good for you as well, because we often also forget about that element. What do you want?
Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to next week, personally, and just sort of, you know, wistfully and sadly thinking of friendships that you think, oh, they don't want to hear from me because I've left it too long, whatever. But, you know, we'll get there and we'll reach out and, you know, make it an important part of our lives. So thank you so much for joining us, everybody. And hopefully we'll see a lot of you on Monday for our live webinar. And yeah, sleep well and have a great restful weekend, and thank you for joining. Thank you, Steph.
Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.